Hi, this is Gemma here. Day 5 of being raw vegan. I missed yesterday, day 4, because it was a really long day. Put bluntly, my son is teething and he had been screaming all day and I just was not in the mood to make a video blog. I was just like, nah, I'm done. Um, I went to Zumba class and then that was about it for me. So this is day 5, and this is the first day I've actually felt tired. And I mean really, really, really tired. I take medication for a pre-existing condition that has a sedative effect, and that can make me feel quite tired first thing in the morning, which was previously why I used to be such a Diet Coke fiend, because I would drink the Diet Coke to kind of counter the effects of the medication. Well, since going raw vegan, I haven't needed the Diet Coke anymore. But today, I very nearly caved. I actually opened up the box to see how many cans were left in there and had my hand on a can before I said to myself, you're probably dehydrated, go and get some water. So, yay, I didn't cave, but it's getting harder. It is getting a lot harder. The diet itself is not hard. The food is delicious. The smoothies are amazing. I mean, I could just drink a smoothie for every meal and be quite happy with that. It's just getting very hard not to fall back into old habits of having the Diet Coke. I had some nuts this evening. I'm trying to limit my consumption of nuts to 1 or 2 times a week. Just because nuts are so high in fat. But I do like to have just a handful or so of nuts every now and then. Although, to be honest, I had a little bit more than that tonight. But tonight was a bad night. I just wanted some nuts, so I had some. But I am having a lot more issues with energy, which I think is coming down to my medication. And unfortunately, as much as I would love to come off the medication, it's just not medically feasible for me to come off of it. This is not something that a raw diet is going to cure. It's an ongoing brain disease that I've had since I was like 4 years old, so it's not going anywhere. And I just have to deal with the sedating medication. It's just frustrating when you wake up first thing in the morning and your first thought, especially when you have a young child, is I could just go back to bed for another 6 hours. And that's no joke. I can wake up my son doesn't wake up until like 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. And I still wake up thinking, I could just go back to bed for another couple of hours. But that's not doable because my son is up. He's done. He's done with being in bed. He's crying because he wants to get out of bed. So I can't just be like, I'll just crash back in bed for another couple of hours, which pre-baby, that's exactly what I would do. I would go back to bed and get up at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, feeling not exactly refreshed, but somewhat awake, and then I'd crawl downstairs and find my Diet Coke and wake up a little bit. But that's all over now. I get up when the baby wants to get up, so I'm not saying I resent my child before anyone says anything like that. It just can be a little bit frustrating when you're so tired and you've got to be switched on to be a parent and you're trying to avoid caffeine. What I found has worked for me is to drink at least half a litre of water as soon as I get up. As close to a litre as I can get, although sometimes I don't get in a full litre because it's just too much water on an empty stomach. But what I found is if I get at least a half litre of water into me, when I first get up, I have a little bit more energy. And then once he's had his breakfast, and once he's kind of settled, then I make my smoothie, and then obviously the sugars kick in and I feel just fine. And then for the rest of the day, I'm fine on energy. If I find myself dipping a little bit, I'll have a couple of bananas. And I'll just, I'll bring my energy levels back up. But it is very, very frustrating at the moment because I imagined that this energy burst on Raw Vegan would last. And I know it's my medication that's causing me to feel this way. But as I said, there's nothing I can do about that medication. I'm not switching it to another one because it took me 5 years? I would say it took about 5 years of continual experimentation to find a medication that worked for me, that didn't, A, completely zone me out, because some of them would work extremely well, but they would turn me into a non-functioning zombie. And that's a trade-off I'm not willing to make. I want to be present in my life. I don't want to be just kind of shuffling through it medicated. Other medications didn't sedate me, but made me extremely nauseated. There was just, every medication had a side effect, and this one is slight sedation. I take it at bedtime, so it makes me sleepy. And then when I wake up in the morning, I feel a little bit groggy, and that's about it. And that's possibly, as my doctor always says, that's as good as it's going to get. Unless we go back on the merry-go-round of looking at medications over and over again, trying to find one that works. So we're stuck with this. And I know that's what's causing me to feel tired and during the mornings. But there isn't a whole lot I can do about that. So I don't know whether or not I should be having more carbs before I go to bed. I don't particularly want to eat really late at night. I mean, I generally have a snack around about 7 o'clock, which is usually some date and coconut rolls, or if it's one of the couple of nights a week when I have them, some nuts mixed with fruit. So I do have a snack, but I don't want to be like stuffing in loads and loads of fruit just before I go to bed, and that seems to be the only way I can think of. But then I'd just be awake and carved up all night. I would just be full of energy and wanting to stay awake all night, and then eventually when I did fall asleep, I'd be even more tired. So I don't know what the answer is. If anyone has an answer, they can let me know. Just do me a favour, please don't tell me the answer is go off your medication, because that's not happening. I know a lot of people in the vegan movement have strong feelings about pharmaceuticals. I don't share those feelings. Medication has saved my life. It's made me able to have a child and actually function, and I'm not going to come off my medication unless my doctor says I no longer need it. So don't just tell me to come off my medication, because that's really unhelpful. But if you have any suggestions on ways I could tweak my diet to maybe make it a little bit more friendly towards, waking up in the mornings or anything like that, that would be great. But yeah, I mean, I'm doing okay. I'm still sticking to the diet. Haven't had any issues actually being raw. Everyone that was against it was saying to me, oh my God, you're going to get horrible stomach cramps, you're going to get diarrhea. You know, that many bananas in one day is unhealthy. You know, that's too much fiber, it's too much sugar, you're going to be ill. And I haven't experienced any of that. I have found that I feel healthier, I have more energy, I'm able to exercise, even if I just get out and go for a walk. That's more exercise than I was getting. So I'm hoping it'll help. Anyways, that's it for today, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.